A tip that's starting to get a little well known in the world of SEO consists of sending direct traffic to your sites by sending signals from, for example, social networks. Basically, the idea is to simulate visitors who would arrive directly from, for example, Twitter. It's as simple as that. And who would land on one of your site's pages. We've actually noticed for a little while now that direct traffic, so I'm using Twitter as an example, but you obviously have what we call traffic laundering a little bit. You have ways to send traffic from Google, for instance, or that kind of thing. I'll explain that directly to your site so that users and especially, let's say mainly, of course, Google Chrome. Obviously, we now know that Google Chrome is heavily used to monitor data like that. So it can see that your site is getting direct traffic. And so potentially it could be an interesting site. I'm simplifying a bit for users. And so it tends to, well, move you up in the SERPs like that. Now, obviously, that's not enough on its own to get you to the #1 spot in the SERPs. But backlinks, having little things like that, plus this, well, this plus this plus this, at some point, it does the trick. There you go. We still see differences in position when we do it versus when we don't. With hindsight now, we have some nice results. So I'm going to show you a little bit how it works. So quite simply here, you have an ad network, for example, called Popcache. Now you have others, obviously other ad networks, but I'm going to use Popcache as the example here. So what is it basically? It's an ad network where you're going to buy traffic as pop-ups or pop-unders, meaning that basically you have users who will be on the publisher side. They'll put the Popcache script on their site to make money and broadcast pop-ups. You know, those somewhat intrusive ads, a bit annoying. And you'll be able to buy traffic just like that, put in links, add links so that you're an advertiser on there. And so it's your site, quote unquote, that will create a pop-up like that as an advertiser. So it's advertising, plain and simple, okay? Now, there are other types. I'll explain that later, of course. Here, I'm giving you the, let's say, more casual method, but you'll really need to understand the concept. So here, for example, I'll show you with a campaign. What did I do? Well, I created a campaign where I say, okay, I'd like this link to be called, obviously, by advertisers in order to broadcast. But it's more complicated than you'd imagine. You'll see. Here, first we're going to set a CPM here. So a cost per mille, a cost per thousand, meaning that here, for example, I'm going to pay 20 cents for 1,000 impressions. So 1,000 impressions will be billed to me at 20 cents. There you go, basically. So 1,000 potential visits. Well, as pop-ups, we're not talking about high quality stuff, but anyway, yeah, it's going to cost me 20 cents. I'm going to cap it at $2 a day there, just so that I'm at 10,000 impressions a day, knowing that obviously there's a lot to throw out in all this. We obviously won't get 10,000 real visitors. We know there are bots. We know there's junk. So the idea is that it gives a somewhat interesting average. Next, we're going to set the parameters. So here, I'm still going to set the, in this case, France, since what I'm interested in is visits coming from France, so that Google Chrome can still see that. Obviously, for devices, I'm going to select desktop, mobile, okay? Then for browsers, so in this case, of course, we're going to stick to the Google environment, meaning Chrome, Android browser, Google search, and Chromium. So these are the Chrome environments. Don't do this on Edge or Firefox. It's completely useless for this kind of pop-up since it's really taken into account by Google. So stay within the ecosystem. Otherwise, you'll be paying for nothing. For language, I've left it as default since I've targeted France for the geolocation. So for now, that's it. So there you have it, a relatively simple configuration. Now, I'm obviously not putting my site's address directly in there. What I'm going to do is store a .php file on another site. I'm actually going to call, in the campaign I've set up, I'm going to call a page that will be stored on one of my sites, okay? And this page, I'll show it to you right now. This page is here. So basically, I made a folder. In this folder, I put an index.php file. And so I'm going to call it there so that I don't have to modify my campaign all the time because some ad networks have validations and so on. It's a bit of a pain. So the objective here was really, yeah, to use a PHP file so that we only have to manage the links directly on our end afterwards. Here, I've made a very, very simple script, which you'll get very soon and which is very, very easy to recreate at worst, even with a ChatGPT or something else if you don't have any coding skills. It basically takes well, I put my list of URLs in it, okay? So my URLs that correspond to my site's pages, and it calls them randomly. Meaning that when the link is called, it allows me to call just one link. And in that link, I'm going to put several URLs. So I can manage several URLs and call them randomly. This allows me to run a single campaign for multiple pages. There, it avoids having to create a campaign for each page. Otherwise, obviously, you'll never get through it. The objective here is not to, well, personally anyway, I'm not going to put the direct link to the site, meaning I'm not going to put directly vivreenpolynésie.com, for example, in there. I'm going to go to Twitter, for example, to X. I'll put the link on X, okay, so in a message or a post, okay, with a fake account or whatever, you confirm it, you right click and save as, okay. I'll show you right away, it'll probably be simpler. There, for example, here you have a link, okay? And if this link here, so automatic.ai, if obviously I take the link source, it won't be automatic. It will be t.co/an ID. And that's actually what we're interested in. So you right click, copy link address, okay? And you'll end up here, if I paste it here, for example, there. A t.co, so a t.co is a Twitter link. So what does that mean? It means I'm going to create URLs. You can do it via message or whatever, no problem in t.co. So I'm going to whitelist them like that. And then I'll add my t.co links to this file, which will then be called by the ad network. So basically the effect will be to show Google that I have visitors, okay, fake ones of course, who are coming from Twitter. And so I'm going to send a signal to Google Chrome, basically for my site of direct arrival, okay, of direct traffic from social networks, and in this case X. Of course you can do this with other networks. Some of them have links that are complicated to retrieve. There you go. So that's why I mainly use, in this case, t.co. I find it works well. From Twitter, but there you go, you can be creative and you can also find other levers there too. So it tends to obviously boost, and we've noticed this, it boosts your traffic quite a bit. Believe it or not, it helps quite a lot. Now obviously don't do it entirely on the homepage. That would be a bit, you know, do it on pages where you want to rank for keywords, for example, the important pages. So if, for example, I paste one of the t.co links I have here, I'll land, for example, on the simulator. There, for me, it's a page that's a bit evergreen. It's important. So it's interesting to send direct traffic to this page because in the long run, obviously, it does tend to give it a good push. So that's it for this little tip. It's pretty well known among SEOs. I still wanted to share it with you here because it's something that gives a little boost. It's not insignificant. There you go. If you have a small budget, here we're talking about €1, €2 a day, but you can spend less, etc. There's no problem. Don't put a large budget all at once, okay? Especially, it's pointless. Set up your campaign properly according to the country, etc. And there you have it. Test. Obviously, always test. We give you some tricks, we give you tips, but afterwards, the best thing is always to test on your own. You might find better things, etc. Here, I'm giving you an example of an ad network. Of course, you'll be able to find others besides pop ads. You obviously have ad cache, etc. So also test with the ad networks, even on your own sites. There are things to do. So be smart about it. And with that, I'll see you next time. See you on the live stream. Bye.